Hey guys, I've been getting a lot of questions lately about my microdosing GLP-1 experience. My short story is that I did 6 months microdosing compound tirzepatide. I reached my goal weight. I lost 34 pounds and I've now been completely off the medicine around 9 months and I have been maintaining. So I think my story is unique in a couple ways. One, that I microdosed instead of did the titrating up that a lot of people do. Two, I think it's unique that I did a short-term therapy. And three, I think it's unique that I was able to maintain after my therapy. So the first 4 months I was on compound tirzepatide, I did 2.5 milligrams. So clinically 2.5 milligrams is considered the loading dose, not a therapeutic dose. It's what doctors usually prescribe the medicine for just the first month, and then they start titrating up. Now I just stayed on the very lowest dose as my therapeutic dose. So a lot of doctors would consider that technically microdosing. Then after those 4 months, when I lost 30 pounds, I got kind of to my goal weights, I switched to half of that. So that was definitely a microdose the last 2 months. So month 5, I just did 1.5 milligrams every week. And then month 6, I did that 1.5 milligrams every other week. So I think for me, staying on that super low dose the entire time, one, it helped me lose the weight I wanted to do. It also helped me solidify lifestyle changes. I switched to a high protein diet. I added regular strength training into my exercise routine, intermittent fasting. I definitely saw a lot of insulin resistance and hormonal healing during that time. I was someone that had some side effects, and so staying on those low doses definitely helped me. I used the Telehealth JoinFridays for my microdosing GLP-1 experience. I highly recommend them. Yes, they still have the compounds. They're able to do custom formulas for you. Be sure to use my discount code Madison with them, and I'll have more information and a link to them in the description box. What motivated you to try microdosing instead of titrating up like most people do? I didn't go into this thinking, oh, I'm gonna microdose, I'm gonna stay on a really low dose. The first month, I saw really good weight loss. I responded really, really well to it, but I also had some side effects. I was nauseous a couple of days a week. I was extra tired a couple of days of the week, sometimes lightheaded. I just wasn't feeling myself a couple of the days of the week. And so, because I saw such wonderful weight loss and was having side effects and was successfully doing lifestyle changes before I got on my GLP-1, I was just overwhelmed with food cravings and food noise and lack of motivation to exercise. And this GLP-1 medication, it just totally changed all that. It fixed my brain so that I was able to make these lifestyle changes. So I was just doing so well on the 2.5 and I was having side effects. So me and my provider decided we'll just stay on it. I just stayed on it steady for 4 months. Once I lost about 30 pounds, I felt really happy with my weight loss, but I didn't want to cold turkey get off of it, even though I was on such a low dose. And that's when I decided to do that half dose month 5, and then the half dose every other week, month 6. How long did it take before you started noticing any effects? I think, really, maybe it was placebo, but day 1 after taking the medicine, I took it on an evening, and then the next day I woke up and I normally would be starving, wanting breakfast right away, and I was just good, not thinking about food, not worried about it at all. I was able to push breakfast several hours, and finally I'd made myself eat. But that food noise, man, the next day I woke up and I just was not hungry, felt very content, was not thinking about food. And then I saw a ton of weight loss that first week. Probably a lot of it was inflammation and water weight. You can tell if you lose a ton that first week, a lot of times it's inflammation and water weight, and it's your body just responding so well to the medicine. And then after that, I was consistently losing probably between 1 and 3 pounds a week with an occasional stall week. How did microdosing compare to the standard dosing? So when I dropped to that half of the starting dose, when I dropped to 1.5 milligrams, I still noticed the food noise was pretty much gone or not as bothersome. I was hungrier, so I was eating a little bit bigger meals. I tried to just like stick with high protein and really healthy stuff to fill me up. I would get hungry like a little sooner. Like on the GLP-1, I could always go a solid 4 hours. You know, when I started dropping that, you know, around 3.5, I started thinking about food a little bit. So nothing crazy, nothing that was like overwhelming or shocking, but you know, it was a little bit different. And I would say part of my success in maintaining the weight after this is that I titrated down and that I did the microdosing and like weaned off of it, because I think it would have been very shocking to cold turkey get off of it. And during that time when I was weaning off of it, I was just solidifying my lifestyle changes and my healthy choices. Also, something nice is that when I dropped to my half dose, I had a lot less side effects. So I just felt like not quite myself a couple days a week. And when I was doing the half dose, it was still like the side effects were still noticeable, but like very much more mild. So that's something to consider too. If you're someone that has a lot of side effects from these medicines, that maybe a smaller microdose may give you some of the same benefits while giving you a lot less side effects. I did continue to lose a couple more pounds while I was on that half dose. Were there any unexpected benefits from taking the lower dose? I think just less side effects. If you're someone who has side effects, then I think, you know, having less is obviously awesome. And it kind of just gives you a better opportunity to tolerate these medicines, because these medicines can be so good for so many of us. Also, another benefit is I had reached my goal weight. So I wasn't trying to lose between 1 and 3 pounds a week anymore necessarily. I was okay losing like a little bit more, but I wasn't trying to like really keep going. And so dropping to that really low dose, I think, helped me get in more maintenance mode. I was getting my body used to eating a little bit more again. I was building my metabolism back up. I was solidifying my lifestyle choices, coming up with coping strategies. That's something also worth mentioning, that like when I did drop to that super low dose, I also just really worked on my coping strategies that, you know, maybe I would chew gum when I was feeling a little snacky, or I would really try to do intermittent fasting and fill up on high protein foods throughout the day to help with insulin resistance. Things like that I could use after I was off the medication, but while still having a little help was definitely nice. Did you notice any changes in your energy level, sleep, or mood? Yeah, so I never noticed really a sleep difference on a GLP-1. I know some people do, but definitely my energy level went up. I was a little fatigued when I was on my full dose. And then mood-wise, I mean, probably a better mood because I had more energy. Did microdosing affect your eating habits and cravings? Yes, I was able to eat a little more, and I did have a little bit of the food noise and cravings come back. Nothing too overwhelming, but it did kind of slowly get me used to that coming back. And then when I got off of it, it wasn't shocking. How did microdosing a GLP-1 change your relationship with food? So my whole GLP-1 journey, I would consider the whole GLP-1 journey a microdosing journey, since I only was on the loading dose in my first part. And, you know, I was in such a bad place with food at the beginning of my journey. I was coming off of my childbearing years, where, you know, self-care was not something that was in the forefront of my mind. And I got into some really unhealthy habits. I was eating just not good, and I was craving that stuff, and I was just overwhelmed by it. And doing the GLP-1 just kind of fixed my brain so that I was able to get my body into a healthier place and able to fix my relationship with food. When I was on the GLP-1, food became about fuel and less about a dopamine hit, which is so important. And then titrating off of it, I was able to, you know, kind of continue that off the medicine. Do you feel like microdosing is a reason you were able to maintain off of it? Yes. Now, everyone's body is different. Some people need to be long-term on their GLP-1, which is totally cool. I have medicines that I'm long-term on. I personally seem to be doing fine off the GLP-1 because I was able to kind of heal my body and change my lifestyle habits. I do feel like my time on my GLP-1. I wasn't like 100% relying on it for everything. I was making healthy choices, making healthy meals, doing high protein diets, doing the exercise. And then when I slowly weaned off of it, I was continuing all of that. So I didn't like just get on the GLP-1 and keep everything exactly the same. I got on the GLP-1 and used it as a tool to totally change my habits. Why did you do Tirzepatide? I picked Tirzepatide in the beginning. Most people, it seems like, have less side effects on Tirzepatide, and I'm a really nauseous person, and I knew that going in, and I decided to do Tirzepatide because I thought I'd feel better on it. Also, with Tirzepatide, it generally leads to more weight loss than Semaglutide. Semaglutide is another great one, of course, but I was like, you know what, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it all in, and I want to hopefully lose my weight sooner rather than later. So that's why I did Tirzepatide. How frequently did you dose? Weekly/biweekly? I did weekly that first 5 months and then bi-weekly that last month. And I will say when I did it bi-weekly, I don't know for sure that I would do that because like I would feel it the week I was on and then not feel it at all the week I was off. And I was on a really, really low dose, but I almost would have like wished month 6 I would have done like an even tinier microdose weekly, because bi-weekly for that low of a dose, I feel like it just was a little weird. I was like kind of on it, then completely off, then kind of on it, then completely off. Did you ever take breaks or cycle off at any point? No, I did 6 months straight through and then have been completely off of it ever since. So I know some people will like skip a week if they go on vacation or cycle off to change their body's response to it so they get like more sensitive to it again, which I think is definitely interesting, but that is not actually what I did. What does maintenance look like for you? So I still do the high protein diet. I work out with strength training several days a week. I do some intermittent fasting. I also did get on Wellbutrin a few months after getting off of it. Wellbutrin is an antidepressant, but it can have some appetite control, weight loss effects on some people. And I do feel like it did that for me. So I was maintaining off the medicine anyway, but I do feel like once I got on Wellbutrin, the food noise also that I had that I was kind of struggling with a little bit, like went back down. So I was maintaining off of it, but I do want to be honest that I'm on Wellbutrin now. That also helps a little bit. What do you wish you had known before starting? I think in regards to microdosing, starting low and seeing how your body responds to it. And if you are consistently losing weight and you're using it as a tool to change your lifestyle habits and you are doing great, then maybe stay where you're at. And then if you want to hopefully get off of it, I would suggest weaning off of it. I feel like that was very helpful to me. Do you think microdosing is a good fit for everyone or only certain people? I would say only certain people. There are definitely people with like intense insulin resistance, that maybe have metabolic syndrome. You know, there's a lot of different reasons, health reasons, and talk to your provider. I'm not a healthcare provider, but that probably would do better on one of the higher doses and need to be like long-term on one of the higher doses. Microdosing, I feel like, is really helpful if you're someone like me whose weight got a little out of control and that was really stuck with cravings. And my medical team, my different doctors all thought it was a good idea and were all supportive of me losing the weight and doing a GLP-1 therapy. And I feel like microdosing was really great for me in that sense. All right, that will be it for my video. I hope it was helpful. I hope it answered your questions. If you have any more questions, leave them in the comments. I love to chat. I'd also love to hear your experience on a GLP-1. Are you microdosing? Are you doing standard dosing? What are you doing? If you have any questions about JoinFridays, you can leave those in the comments as well. Please give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful. Remember to subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you in my next video.